She probably somewhere between the moon and New York City. Who knows?
Is that a song?
I know, it's crazy.
Like, I thought those were song lyrics.
It is Christopher Cross, I believe.
Crisscross. And not the boys.
You know what's
Jump.
and it took everything out of me. I was about to be like, sailing.
Yeah. Oh, I love that song.
To where I always know it.
That's my jam, though. I love it.
Hey, Seanna.
Oh, hi. Oh, God.
Oh, gosh.
I love your tattoos. Don't you have one on your hand?
The streamer is so bad.
Yeah.
Okay, wrist and bicep.
Whoa.
Shoulder. I have lots.
Wow.
You ain't got no Kardashian tattoo on, you know where, do you?
No.
I heard those are hard to remove.
Painful to remove.
It's a long name right there.
That's still lies. All right.
So how y'all doing out there? Tomorrow we're going to be live on Red Lentil Healing with Jody Roberts for our part 2 of Mama Earth reading. Also wanted to address one question that I could not answer for you on the last live stream. There was a lot of questions that were left that we didn't really necessarily need to do readings on that I pulled out to answer. So the answer is going to be towards the end of the live stream on that one. But what do you do for personal barriers for empaths? And so, Adrian, did you have any suggestions?
Oh, I have several. I do what's called the sovereignty command. It is part shamanic, part everything. And I just command sovereignty over my body, my mind, my spirit, my soul, my DNA, my emotions in my sacred space for the highest good. And that helps put a fortress around me. Takes all of 14 seconds to say. I can say it in my mind, say it out loud. But it sets a very strong intention as into what keep the hell out of my personal world. I also when I worked in a corporate office in Dallas, the energy was very, very intense. And so I used a lot of different essential oil products and would rub it or whatever on myself multiple times a day to help, and then say my sovereignty command as well to help keep my fortress up.
And I would also like to add that there is such a thing called protection spray that you can get from redlentilhealing.com. There it is. Times 2. Now, Toni, did you have any suggestions?
Well, I've been doing this for so long. I just like Adrian, it just takes a minute. But I just I do a circle around myself and then I close it off with my fist. I circle around and then I close it with my fist. And I do that when I'm in my car before I start it, before I go anywhere. I put a protection circle around the car, close that with my fist. And then I use, if I'm out in this, in the world, I just always have either black tourmaline on my person somehow, whether it be necklace or it's just like a little piece of black tourmaline in my pocket. But I have rocks and stones in every purse and every pocket. So,
Seanna, did you have any suggestions?
Yeah. So I like to use Reiki to sort of as one of the ways to protect my spiritual boundaries and to protect myself while I work. I often use my selenite wand and I have it here. It's called Shoku-rei. Place the power of the universe here. A basic Reiki symbol. And I just like to trace it. Looks backwards to you guys, but I like to trace that symbol once in a while. I do also have protective crystals like my onyx cat. I have my hematite magnets that they just absorb the negativity. And then when I go to cleanse the crystals and magnets, it's almost like, okay, spirit, you take this stuff and turn it into good, take all of this negativity and turn it into something good. And then something I like to do, I was actually taught to do this during my Reiki training, was that if you're in a situation with, like negative energy or somebody just kind of rubs you the wrong way, just brush it off. and they don't even have to know what you're doing. You can look like you're just brushing some lint off of your shirt or off your arm or whatever, and you're literally just brushing off the negative energy. So I do that quite a bit too.
And it's all about intention. You know, what your intention is. If you set your intention, then that's the thing that the universe gives to you. You set your intention, and then your guides, your angels, your protectors will step up for you.
It's one of the things I do, and every time I make products is there is, do the Reiki energy into it and actually set I will put them in front of the gongs, and I will play every time you buy something. They go in front of my gongs, and I play the gongs, and I'm setting the intention that this is protection spray. And then this is going to put a bubble around you. Shall this work? Hence and forevermore. Done. If it's clearing spray, may this cleanse everything from your whole stratosphere, boo-boo. Shall it be done?
And so it is. Woo.
So that actually brings us to the first question. Is conflict in human beings naturally? As in, are we born with conflict in us, or is this something we develop? This was sparked out of my viewpoint on empath, or how I'm an empath. I'm sort of a global empath. Like, I don't understand why people can't get along, like why we treat each other like the worst thing on earth sometimes. Is it just in us to be aggressive, to be in conflict always, or is this like a environmental thing? Because I believe one way and you believe another way, and so now we're enemies. You ready, Seanna? You can go.
Yeah, I think so. I have that something that comes first in human nature is, well, there's like the desire to want to help each other, to want to make things better, because it's like all people, we're all thrown into this planet and basically told, here's some things you're going to learn, now go and do it. And I do pick up that compassion is supposed to be human nature. However, we also have fear. A lot of our conflict stems from unhealed fears, and a fear of lacking resources and not having what you need.
What you get, Adrian?
I get no. We are more anxious. I think something about evolution made us a little battle weary, but the challenge is though planned as we evolve, as humans started to become more human, I guess, and make plans. How do I put it? No, it wasn't, but we overcomplicated life with these plans. We were confused. Why can't, I hate to sound so cliche, but why can't we all get along? It's kind of our intrinsic human nature, because again, ooh, snap. I hate it when I throw cards on the floor. We want this. This is kind of this actually is one of the reasons here and now. We want to celebrate. We want the happiness, but sorry, that's the card I needed. Fell on the cat snatch on the floor. But this is interesting. Greed and being too independent minded is what's in the environment. So it kind of causes the conflict, especially when we get people who have the emperor authoritarian like minds loud, it can happen. So I think no. I think we just, as we continue to evolve, we just overcomplicated and made things way worse. Had we just been like, oh, we can eat and we've got shelter and there's a wheel and there's fire, I'm good.
More. Toni, what you get?
So universally, we have we want to be good like our puppies, but the impediment that we have is that we quarrel and fight and have all of this mental conflict because of money, which is somehow what we gauge our self-esteem by, how much money we have, how much money we give, how much money we make. All of that goes into our journey. This is what we have to encounter in our journey. It's just human nature. That's what we do. We are competitive, and that's what I got.
Yeah, I get what all y'all got. It started sort of when you're young. The Seven of Pentacles. There is the seeding of negative influence, the seeding of negativity with the Page of Swords. Page of Swords can be very intelligent, but it's kind of like a person who is too smart for their surroundings, then becomes bored, and then becomes destructive. And so then you have the Emperor. I want power, but at the same time, I have an agenda. And the Five of Swords. Then we become bullies, and then we become, what is the word? We become in conflict. I want to pluralize conflict for some reason, but we become aggressive. We become, like you said, we become that. We aren't born that way, though. Just like Seanna said, we're born wanting to be compassionate. Just, when I do my walks in the chair and that walk up and down the street, there's like 2 girls and 3 boys, and they're all different colors and all different, all this, and they get it. They understand it. They got it. They understand life right there. It doesn't matter what they look like on the inside. Do I get along with you? Are you a jerk on the inside? Type of thing. So they all get along. They do their homework together. They run up and down the street. Cars is coming. Don't nobody run them over. They got it. They understand it. But the older you get, like Adrian said, you complicate things, and then life becomes a competition. It becomes a race all of a sudden, and then it's not that I'm just faster than you. I need to also knock you down to make sure that you can't gain on me. Humans suck, I swear.
I say this all the time, and I now have my coworker saying it, which I feel kind of bad for, but not really. And I would say humans can be such trash.
Yes.
Notice I didn't say all humans, so don't come for me.
No, not all.
And I didn't say they are trash. I just said that humans can be trash sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of humans and trash, let's go into the spirit right now. Are spirits native to Earth? As in, were they created here? Were they born here? Do they live here? Or are they only here because they once had a human existence? Like, is there some spirit factory somewhere that creates spirits and then they get to live here? Or can you only be here if you were once human?
I would love to visit that factory.
It's so interesting.
That would be amazing.
This is interesting. I got that there are some souls that are called from elsewhere, and they want to sort of have an understanding of Earth life. And so Spirit's like, well, okay, if you want to have an understanding of what it's like to be here, you're going to have to actually be here. And so I think that some souls. They come from elsewhere, but they do come and incarnate here once or twice or however many times they need. And I pick up this like very protective energy. Some I think want to stick around and try and protect humans or try and help us to learn and help us to grow. I pick up that they become very attached to humans. Like we're kind of like some, I don't want to say we're like a zoo exhibit or some kind of like a scientific observation, but kind of they have this attachment to us and they like watching us develop and they like to help us with our development. For some of these spirits, it's just part of their evolutionary path. It's just part of their learning. So for, you know, X number of millennia or for however long time you're to be around Earth, and then maybe you can move on to another planet later. That's what I've picked up.
I love that.
Adrian, what'd you get?
I wish my answer was as eloquent as Sienna's. Mine is a garbage heap of a lot of different things, but I think I got it's a contract that they signed. There's the plan starting with the Two of Wands. So it doesn't tell me where, it tells me kind of how the process came to get here is more of what I'm getting. That's why I'm like, mine is not like Sienna's. I get the process. This is part of their contract. Their and the thing is I hate to say, it's kind of like like when you go buy a car and you're not quite sure what the APR is going to be until after you get, like, you find a car and you like it, and then you go back. And so the dealer deals with you to an extent, like your salesperson. But then from that on, you have to deal with the finance man, and it can go like turn to complete crap after that. And you may have to be prepared to walk away, but you kind of can't because you need a ride, or you need a car, you're gonna take the bus home. Okay. That is how their contract is signed. It is like there's this plan. So we're gonna go to the dealership, right? We're gonna go do this. But the thing is I don't quite know what I'm getting. The challenge is for them is this Eight of Swords. I'm mentally trapped. I can't really do much. I make this contract. I know I need to come in and incarnate in this life because I did some really cool stuff, and I get to come do this. I get to come see this human existence, right? But I don't really know what I can do because there's a lot of things that you humans do and make change that I can only kind of help and guide from here. But dang, man, y'all really gotta stop being extra is what I hear. But it ends with the moon. There's something that hadn't quite come to the surface yet. So I have so many other cards because, again, the Two of Cups, they wanted to do this. There's something about the human experience that's intriguing, which is why they agreed to do this in the contract. They also are a source of strength. However they come to be is so incredibly strong, but I don't get the answer other than it's a contract. I just don't get where the contract was. It signed in Jupiter, or was it signed in...
Yeah, like who writes up the contract? Who are their spiritual lawyers? Like,
yeah, because it doesn't even tell me who the spiritual lawyers are. Just these are all the process.
Toni, what'd you get? I think you're muted.
Yeah, I got decisions, which that for me means the contract. They decide to come here to do whatever learning they can, because whether it's they're trying to learn about love, which I don't know why they would come here.
have love when it's hard to, maybe.
Where is the love?
Actually, seeing the lack of love can teach you the true capacity to love.
Very good point. Mm-hmm. And then they become more spiritually aware of what kind of, I don't know, I also got compassion. So there's a lot of love involved here, compassion. It helps them move forward in a positive way. Somehow I also got the Lovers. They love to be around us. They love to see us love each other. I think that's what's going on. And then the last card I got was Ghost Dance. So they dance around us all the time, just trying to, get into that energy, the energy that we have, whether it be love energy or anger or whatever, that fear energy or whatever. They are here to experience that as through us as much as we are. So yes. What
So
was the question?
I asked for the time, and they told me how to build a watch. This is the most complicated answer I've ever seen in my entire life. I got all the same cards Adrian did too, which is, I guess, why it's a story. This is, I wanted a pamphlet, and this is the Constitution. I got the moon is the first card. So it's more complicated than just, are they native to Earth? It's complicated. It's a thing. It's a thing. It's like a fish. It's like a fishbowl, and Earth is the little castle inside the fishbowl, and they're all swimming around. And sometimes they go inside the fishbowl, and they exist as the fishes inside the castle. And then once they, float to the top, then they go off, and they then go through a series of choices to come back here if they wish. Or if they're contracted to, or there's a lot of avenues to this. I don't exactly know what. There's also a bit of, here's the thing too. A human experience is unique. And so when you are on the other side and everything is, light or dark, or high vibration, low vibration, or family and missing, or whatever the case may be, this is different down here. This is a little more complicated. When you go inside the castle, there's a lot of fish in there. They all have different personalities. They were born under this moon and that star and this Chiron, and you got Sagittarius in your Sagittarius Junior. So it's a whole bunch of stuff down here that makes it more complicated, and so you kind of have to roll with the punches because you can't change it, and some of it's awful and some of it's complicated. But there you go.
At least.
God, dog it. Why do I ask questions? So here's
That's
another
why they're
one.
here. That's why they're here to ask questions.
This one might be another one, but maybe not. Why does sage and things like that work? Palo Santo, sage, what do things like that work to clear energy? Sediments, like you were doing earlier, or the selenite wand. That is a good purifier because you don't have to ever clean it. It's self-cleaning. So why do stuff like that and stuff like that work?
Why do they work?
Well, I like that Spirit's given us a lot of different options, a lot of different tools that we can use for purification and things like this. I pick up that a lot of it is really about intent. With this Ace of Wands, I'm seeing here like somebody literally holding a stick. And if they have that strong intent that this has a purpose, this is what it means, this is what it represents when I use this, Spirit goes, well, okay, we'll go with it. And I got that Chariot card. We'll go with it. I also pick up that some of these things just resonate at a very high vibration, just a very, I don't know, I pick up there's just a positive kind of energy around some of these different tools. And it can help to counter negativity. This is just the mental image I'm seeing. I don't really understand it, but it's like a really strong vibration that breaks up weaker vibrations. or like something being broken up by like a sonic blast or whatever. That the energy in some of these things is just so powerful that it sort of overtakes this negativity and absorbs it. But a lot of it relies heavily on your intent when you're using these tools.
I agree. Adrian, what you get?
I'm smirking because Spirit did not give me the answer. It didn't. I guess it did tell me why, because the question was, why does it work?
Yeah.
Okay, it tells me more how it worked and not why it
Yeah.
worked.
That still works too.
Yeah.
But this works. Creates with the Empress, giving birth creates a way for you to get to higher ground, because what it does is it kills, blocks off anything set against you that is not for your highest good with the Five of Swords.
Mm.
It tells me how, didn't tell me why. It just told me how.
Why does it work? Why does it work? Well, I think that Sienna was totally on point, because there is an energy that some herbs have, the vibrational energy that some herbs have that other herbs don't. So through the years, that with intention and with magicians or practitioners who have studied and researched and all that stuff, and they have found the things that work, like sage and mugwort or whatever, and it's all a love of the trying to protect the heart chakras and bring in positive energy, sort of a limitless ability to control, or to have union, I guess is the word that I want to say, union with positive energy and positive spirit, which brings a more stable energy into your sphere. And that sexual energy is creative, so it also helps you create. So I guess the why people use it is because it helps put you into that space. And I pulled this Taming the Wind, because the things that you burn, you are able to create a certain thing that you want. Intention, I guess, when you are using these tools. And the last card that I got was the Star card. It says hope, but this is the Star card in Tarot, and it just helps to balance out the chakras.
I get that this sounds cliche, but I gotta say it anyhow, that it was created with an intent. So it's like there is okay. You can use whatever you want by putting your intent behind it and go for it. Like, don't let nobody tell you what to do with your own spiritual practices. There may be better tools for what it is you're trying to do, but if you are on a path and you are connected with this thing, do that thing, because nobody should come between you and your spiritual guide. Now, I get the Eight of Swords as the first card, as in the herb, whatever it is, has a specific purpose. And then the Knight of Wands is sort of the breaking out of its limitations. You can now use it for other things. If you want to eat bay leaves, go right ahead. They're going to taste, they're good to eat. You just need to season them. But if that's what you want to do, I'm not going to.
Don't eat bay leaves.
It's bomb as all get out.
If you just want to put it in and take the flavor, you can do that. But you can also take it, burn it for prosperity. So
Yeah.
It's like it has multiple uses. All of these things has multiple uses, and it's like a spiritual download that kind of let humans know, use this for this. When I did some, I forget what it was, but I did an abundance ritual once for somebody else. And I was asking, okay, what do I use? They told me, okay, get black pepper, amber, and soak it in water. Never heard that in my whole life. I'm like, okay. Amber is for prosperity. I didn't know that. Black pepper speeds up the process of whatever it is you're doing. I didn't know that either. And so it's like you can get these if you just ask. And so that's kind of the thing, to where that Knight of Wands, there's an action behind it. And you are the person who is going to turn that action on or turn it off if you don't want to listen. Don't eat babies. Okay, now.
Just don't complain when it's nasty.
And it will be.
But some people do not learn from lessons. They learn from life. They learn the hard way. Which brings me to my next question of, how powerful is the human brain? Is it more powerful than we know? Or is it just what we thought? Or what we have come to quantify as its power? And what sparked that question was this idea of clairvoyant and clairaudient. That's not something we can measure, and yet it's still there. So how powerful is this thing? Or do we pretty much got a grip on how powerful it is?
Wow.
Well, okay, I've got that. First of all, we don't even realize its full potential. There's more to the brain than we give it credit for. It's actually, we think we understand all of its processes and why it does what it does, but there are so many, even just mundane functions that it does that we still don't fully understand yet. Or there's just something that we're not quite seeing when it comes to the brain, or something that we could be looking into, but we just aren't. People just haven't thought to look into it yet. I do have, with the Lover's card, there is a strong connection between the human brain and spiritual communication, or the spiritual realm, or whatever you want to call that. I also have that there's something here about meditation. It's not always 100% fix everything, cure everything, superpower, but it does do something very, very important for our brains, which can help strengthen the spiritual connection. What else have I got here? That people just have a very limited view on the human brain and what it's capable of. And like Johnny was saying, we don't really have a way to measure things like clairvoyance and clairaudience and stuff like that. But maybe it's because I'm kind of picking up, nobody's really tried. No one's really tried to look into it or gotten the, the right kind of funding or support to look into it. But also that it's, for some reason with this Knight of Swords, I'm just seeing like constantly firing. And it's constantly, we think that we stop developing or growing. Maybe it I don't know if it stops maybe it stops physically growing once you reach adulthood, but there's something about it's always forming new connections, and it's always like willing to make these new connections and always willing to take on new information. But I like to know that it has a connection to the spirit realm, the spiritual communication.
Mm-hmm.
People just haven't quite figured it out yet.
What'd you get, Adrian?
Mine starts very similar to Seanna, as that we don't even know. We are so immature in our thought process of how powerful the human brain is. It's just, there's so much beneath the surface we have not begun to uncover. The part where my reading differs a little bit from Seanna is that I actually there are a group of really creative people, scientists, maybe even I get like metaphysicists, that's a word. I just had to spit it out, that are actually working together to truly there's a community of people basically working together because with the Page of Cups, more of the creative to understand the brain. Like scientists have finally have kind of gone, you know what? To Seanna's point, there's more to it that we can't explain. So let's call in the hippy dippy weird people, how they would call them, because scientists, they got to see it to believe it, and because there's so much we don't understand, got to pull it together. I will say there is one thing that they have concluded, and I'm a little interested to see how this plays out because I got the completion card and the devil. It's almost like they're 100% certain that addiction is a chemical imbalance. It is in the brain. It is not in the heart.
Mm-hmm.
That all malfeasance, it starts in the brain. It is, but then it goes down to the heart. But I am curious to see how this plays out because it's with the world card, with the completion, they're not going to keep looking. And I think could be a blind spot. I think there's more that needs to be searched there.
Yeah. Well, I started out the same way. There's so much we just don't know. So much we just don't know. And, and like you said, Adrian, there are a lot of people who are looking into this, mapping out the brain, mapping out how much brain power we use every day, how much lies dormant. So that's something, but it is attached to spirit. Our brains are attached, and we have a spiritual awareness. We have psychic abilities, and so it's like a first chakra kind of creative energy, and and then we are able someday we'll be able to communicate what actually is going on. But right now we have no clue. We don't know. But we're moving through it. But right now I think that you're right. It's a hanged man situation. They're pausing on this, Adrian, for some reason. I don't really know. But there are a lot of people working on it. So they're getting together to do that. So yeah. What I get.
I get that work too. The Four of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles. There are people who are working, who are researching, who are doing those type of things. The Four of Pentacles does let me know that it's either small group or it's not something that they share a lot of information from. So it's like we're not really getting the strides that we can, I guess, if you brought more people in. But I'll trust the process on that. Mm-hmm. As far as personal goes, there needs to be a killing of the burden. So the 10 of Wands and the 10 of Swords. And then I got Judgment in between that. So what this means is the limitations on our brain are put there by us first, and they're put there by surroundings, society, child rearing, and all that. So the limitations are put on us, and those who recognize the other world, the psychic world, the other side, the veil and all that, they're taking a step closer to an understanding. But to get all the way there, you need to be in a space where there is no intention. I just want to know. It's kind of like if there was some spiritual bath or spiritual lake or something. I'm not going to go to soak up the knowledge. I'm just going to sit in it, and what happens. So it's kind of like you need to surrender completely to spirit, and then it unlocks something in you, and then your brain becomes like 1.2, and then you can unlock something else, and it continues to go from there. Your brain's never going to be fully 100% because you're always going to learn, and you're probably going to die before it gets there. But you can always unlock other stuff. Always. You're never done.
This is what I don't understand. I don't understand how we could have such a major computer inside our heads and we only use a small portion of it after all of this time.
You know what else I was thinking too? To get to that point where right when we're like, okay, I think you get to your brain capacity Then what happens to people with Alzheimer's and dementia? To completely, your brain get to a point and then it just reverts and it atrophies on itself. That is so fascinating to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird.
But speaking of problems,
Yeah.
will artificial intelligence become a danger? I'll change the word. The word was problem. It's usually a problem. If I push start and it don't start, your problem. But will artificial intelligence become a danger to human beings?
There was a show on Fox called Next. It didn't even make it a full season. And that was the whole premise of the show, was that it was like a knockoff on Alexa, and they had developed an Alexa that was so smart that his name was actually, the program was named Next, and Next ended up using our own AI to kill us. The premise of the show was so dope. The acting was god awful. So it didn't make it past like season 1. And not all the acting, it was the main actress. I was just like, everybody around you is having to work overtime because you are so flat. But I just thought it was the show had such an interesting premise. Like, have we given this technology too much reign?
Well, there was a shock and awe, clutch my pearls moment when one of our human beings who was really good at such a thing was beaten by a computer at chess. And the reason it was such a big deal is because chess is a game of randomness. I can throw anything at you and yet you still beat me. You can get strategies. You can get, I know what that move is and I think I know where you're going. Like, it's mind reading now. So that was a big deal. And then you got the robots that could have full-blown conversations with you. And like, I mean.
Okay, well, I mean, I have here with Four of Swords, I was hearing, as long as there's still an off switch, we're okay. As long as we have the ability to override the AI and be able to shut it off or offline or whatever.
Unplug it.
Yeah, as long as we're able to have that control. I do have that. It's kind of a double-edged sword because, first of all, there's a strong influence here. With like, I'm hearing a lot of stuff like AI algorithms. That's just going through my mind right now. Like all kinds of stuff about algorithms. There are ways in which AI can help us in our daily lives. It could be like through some of our devices. Maybe we get some there are like some futuristic like appliances and stuff out there already. Stuff that can actually help us, but at the same time, it can be, that's why it's a double-edged sword, because the other card next to the strength here was that it can be really harmful to us. I keep thinking of something about algorithms like exploiting. I think there's stuff that's happening now with like government stuff being able to find our data, stuff that we want to keep close to ourselves, becoming more easily accessible, and that can be really, well, that can have some really bad consequences for some people. Now, I do just have, looking at the bottom of my deck, there are lots of people who are currently looking into and researching ways to, I think it's like ways to prevent like dangerous situations or something with AI. It's like, has to do with like preventing problems before they start or before they happen. Or researching like, well, what should the limit be? We're trying to, there's, I guess, something I'm picking up about people trying to come to some kind of agreement on how far is too far and what should be allowed and what shouldn't.
There's something that's going to be illuminated. This is also my yes card. It could be problematic. What I think is interesting, I got the Hierophant as well. That's the challenge, though. And I actually think the actual government, big man, is going to be the challenge. But I also got it, but in a positive way, though, not necessarily a bad way. Like they may, because what they may do is regulate put plans in place. Like anybody who wants to come in and do something ill, there's going to be something in place for them to not do it so they can gain profit off of it, with the Two of Wands and the King of Pentacles at the base of this. So double-edged sword with this, like Seanna was saying. They can stop it, they can maybe put some regulations in to stop companies from going too far and monetizing and profiting to do bad things with it. But then the government can also kind of take that and use that and put that in their pocket. Like, see what you want. There is something though. There has been a breakthrough in some type of technology or something that has been a secret that we have not heard about yet, but it's actually going to find ways we're going to get that it's going to be used for some good. So there's going to be news about how, love Apple or hate Apple, right? There's rumors that in their September release, because Apple does every September, the new Apple Watch, like they've put new technology about how to prevent stroke symptoms now. So if your heart or something in your body doesn't trigger something, it's going to automatically call 911, or it's going to start doing something. So you have to do something. And if you don't do it in that order, it's like, hey, I think you may be having a stroke. And I'm like, that's actually kind of cool.
That can be really helpful.
That can be really helpful.
It can help some seniors to still live mostly alone and independently too.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
for some people, that's incredibly important.
Yeah. So
But they can't. If they don't make the numbers big enough, they can't read it.
I can't with you.
Maybe the display has the text to speech or something.
You were so right.
So I got the wedding between technology and man. It's the marriage of the two. What I got is that it could be a trap, because we could end up with AI that could get angry with us. If they got angry, if they didn't like what was going on. But like you said, Adrian, there is something that's going on, a protector. We have a protector that is, or several protectors who are working on something to make sure that AI cannot move beyond the human mind's ability to function. So that new beginning, I don't know, is on the way, and people are still going to have to communicate with each other through their chakras, through their 6th chakra or their 7th chakra or whatever. So we'll still be able to have some privacy, I think. They won't be able to know everything. It's just like data. I need it. And they're just eating it up like M&Ms.
So there are, oh, good Lord. Okay. Let me narrow this down. So I get a yes and then potential yes. So yes, it can become a problem instead of danger. One, our society is built on technology at the moment that is progressing, that is also taking a lot of people's job. Now, it would be okay if we all were able to just frolic and play while the machines worked, but that's not how it works. A lot of us have to go to work, but then you have people in farming, you have people in construction, you have people in your grocery store. The Walmart down the street has got 23 registers and only 2 of them were people added. The rest are self-check. You got to check your own self out and pay for your own stuff. So it's like it can become a progressive problem there. Now, the second one here, you have to program something to attack. And I don't think there's a malfunction, yes, and then it can call. Do you remember Y2K? That was supposed to end the world because computers everywhere could not fathom the number turning back to 0. And so they were all supposed to shut down. So it's kind of like malfunctions can cause a serious problem. Solar flares can cause a serious problem because so much of our technology here runs on satellites in outer space. And so here, if you can control it, then you're okay. 8 of Swords, 5 of Wands. 5 of Wands is that fighting, that, and mind you, the Knight of Swords is that rushing in, that erratic energy. So here's your attack right here. But if you are prescient enough with the hermit, then you will see this coming. You can create a robot that can have a full-blown conversation, even an argument with you. Don't give it a gun, and you'll be all right. You'll be okay.
They already have guns, Johnny.
We got enough of that walking around the earth.
I mean, for real though.
Well, oh God. Actually, okay. So, well, let's just go there then. Speaking of mankind, this question was sparked from the story of Noah's Ark, where God was disappointed in mankind, so he drowned a lot and left a few people to repopulate the earth. So what is Spirit's grade? A, B, C, D, E, F. E for effort for mankind right now. How do we score? Are we a disappointment? Are we a good strong C? Because some of us are good and some of us are at the back of the class shooting spitballs like or atomic bombs, actually. What is the grade for mankind right now? Gonna pull as few cards as possible.
I was just thinking the same thing. I'm like, please give me this answer in 3 cards.
Because this might be one of those ouch type. Ooh, mercy. Okay.
Well, the first thing that I got here was the moon card, and I first heard needs improvement. NI, needs improvement. And it's not because people are objectively stupid or bad. It's because some of us make terrible decisions. And it's not humans as a whole. Sometimes it's individuals that make their own bad choices that affect other people. I also have here that people are very insecure right now, and that something that would improve our grade, I guess, so to speak, would be to be less afraid to open up to each other. Spirit's telling us how we can actually improve, I guess, our grade. There's offering compassion and empathy to other people. Also, this offering compassion, empathy, forgiveness for ourselves, and working on healing ourselves instead of bringing other people down so that we feel better. I do have here, like with the justice, that this can be worked out. We can do better, and we can be better. That we have that potential. We really have to be kinder to each other and spend less time acting out of fear and more time acting out of empathy.
Thank you, Teresa. What do you get, Adrian?
Spirit wants to call us into the principal's office, the Hierophant. It's going to ask us to tell the truth about how we've been acting, okay? Because Spirit is very anxious. Spirit is like, oh, Jesus, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Because it wants to give us a chance to correct our actions. So I'm going to call you into the principal's office first, and we're going to talk about it. I'm going to give you the opportunity to tell the truth before I call your mama. And, if you can get your game right, get your actions right, I won't go further with this detention slip or this ISS in school suspension or this expulsion. But for right now, I'm going to give you an opportunity to correct yourself. I just need to talk to you about it.
Toni, what you get?
I got that truth is really going to be the thing that gives us a better grade. But we're not doing so good. We're not doing so good. We haven't studied enough. We using Cliff Notes and all this stuff that's given us skewed answers because of our relationships with the truth. Our relationship with the truth is hampering our ability to have a universal language together, a universal oneness, a universal togetherness. But we could, the potential is there. The potential is there to have all the things that we want, to have the world that we want, to have a balanced chakra of the earth, of us, each one of us. We have to work on our affection for each other and our faithfulness to each other, and it's just, that's all. I think I got this soul retrieval card, so, and I'm not really sure exactly, but as a shaman, I know that as for soul retrieval, this is a process that you have to go through in order to have a soul that's whole. So there are parts of our souls that have been broken off throughout time, and we just need to try to retrieve those parts so that we can live in harmony together and have a better world and a better society.
You know what I picked up when you were talking about this? I just keep thinking about like that good teacher that pulls aside the problem kid and goes, "Hey, I know you're better than this. I know you're a good kid. I know you can do it." Yeah. And instead of being like, "Okay, you're so bad, you're so dumb, you're so whatever," and like outwardly judging, they go, "No, I care about you. I see your potential and I see the good in you. You need to see it so that you can be better and do better." Mm-hmm. That's what I think of.
Yeah.
So I get a positive message. I get the 10 of Cups first. So big happy family. And then I got the 9 of Cups. That's more wishful thinking. So this is the desire. This is what I want you to be, is the big happy family. You got the 2 of Cups and the Knight of Wands. The problem is there is almost like a magnet, because I get the 2 of Pentacles here, which is an imbalance, and then I get the Tower too. It's like we should come together, but we repel. Some of us just repel. Some of us are just not meant to be in the same space at the same time. So we just repel. Now, mind you, that ain't our fault completely. Because the zodiac wheel is full of personalities, and we all got one. And all of them don't mesh, even though they're still part of the same wheel. Mm-hmm. And so some of us just repel naturally. Now, here's the thing, though. This part is our fault. Just because we don't connect does not mean we need to fight. And so you go and you connect with the people you connect with. I'll connect with the people I connect with, and we won't throw crap in each other's yard. So the big happy family is still the goal. We can get there here, but you need cooperation. That's what the 2 of Cups is. Mm-hmm. You need cooperation. The problem with that is the human brain says, I don't want to cooperate. I want you to go away. Okay, fine. I want you to go away too. So let's both cooperate and go our separate ways. But it turns into something, as Adrian said, more complicated than that. And so I would say it's a good strong seed. We're still here. Everybody, the bad apples don't spoil the bunch. People are still good. I preach this constantly, that the world is getting better, even though people say it's getting worse. It is getting better. Just look at the screen. We're from all different corners of the earths and personalities and things too, and we ain't killed each other yet. So, and there's 243 of y'all in here looking at us talk. So, the earth is getting better. We'll get there. Maybe in my dreams, which brings up the next question. Why? Okay, let's do this one first. What is the purpose of sleep other than rest? Does it have a spiritual purpose at all? Yes or no, or whatever spirit wants to say. But is there something other than rest and rejuvenation and all the physical body stuff? Is there something else for the purpose of sleep? And what sparked this question, giraffes sleep 5 minutes a week. They're gigantic. And so therefore, getting on the ground with all that leg and all that neck is, well, number one, leaves them vulnerable. And number two, is very hard to do and just pop right back up again. So they sleep about 5 minutes a week. So why is there certain creatures out there that don't need to sleep at all, and yet we need to sleep 58 hours a day in order to be okay?
I wish I could sleep that long.
That's comatose. You don't need sleep.
15 hours a day. I don't know if that's Earth anymore.
Flower bringing the slow singing right there.
Daddy's on Mars time.
Well, one thing I picked up, I picked up that there's actually multiple reasons, but Spirit just gave me one of them. We get the opportunity to slip into a different perspective. And when we are awake and thinking about other things in our daily life, we don't have time or space in our minds to do this type of, well, some maybe would consider it travel, or to experience this type of different perspective. I have that it is healing. I mean, yes, it's healing to the body, but it's also healing to the emotional body, and it's healing to the mind. That it just allows us to just take a break. And I also kept getting this Two of Wands. It fell out, and then I shuffled and put it back in, and then it fell out again. So with this one, I don't know. I keep picking up something to do with like helping us to plan like our next steps. Maybe it's other work that we're doing in spirit, or maybe we just need some quiet time to process everything going on, and then go, okay, well, now what do I want to do from here? But I pick up that for sure it's just definitely meant to help us, because we don't often during the day get, unless you meditate or you like to go into that trance kind of state, often we don't really get time to see this different perspective.
I agree. What you get, Adrian?
Spirit, don't shoot the messenger, y'all. Don't come for me. Don't be in my inbox talking about Adrian. I just don't shoot the messenger. The purpose that sleep serves is it's not necessarily clinical. It's to keep us from being buttholes. Think about it. If we were awake all the time, we would be destructive AF. We would be fighting all of the cat snatching time with the Five of Wands. We fight enough when we get sleeps. Imagine how cranky and nasty and destructive we'd be without sleep, how much fighting we would have. It also keeps us from strategizing and trying to take each other out. You can't quite do that when you're asleep, dude. You can't. And it keeps Five of Swords, the fighting, it keeps everything at bay. It really does, because if not, that's how we still keep this. If we didn't, it would not be good. There would have to be something there would have to be some kind of rules or something set in place to keep us from being so destructive, even more destructive we are. That's what it tells me. I don't know if it's being sarcastic. I don't know if it's snarky. I don't know why it gave me that answer. I thought it would say something like, oh, there's a biological reason for the cells to regenerate, or some beautiful spiritual answer. It told me so we won't be buttholes.
That's a good reason, though.
But it's like Seanna said, there's multiple reasons.
There's multiple reasons.
Lots of different reasons.
And I think that is definitely one of them. What you get, Toni?
So I get that with sleep, we are trying to balance ourselves out physically, mentally, spiritually, sexually, whatever. We're just trying to balance. Sleep is a way to balance. Sleep is a way to rejuvenate, of course, and it gives the body time to heal itself. But yes, to balance out, that is the that's the thinking and the intention behind sleep. In the physical, we connect with each other in the sleep state, and I can never get these things right. This card, we connect with each other in this sleep state, and it's a heart connection. It's a heart connection that that makes us feel stable and secure, and it also allows us to find our creativity. What is happening in our psyches that will create the things that we want, and in the sleep state we are able to do that. And we're waiting for our ship to come in through this sleep state, and we get really wonderful, calming, and beautiful messages in our sleep, which I don't know what this card means. I gotta say, it fills all our cups. That's what just came into my head. It fills all the cups that we have. Sometimes the cups are overflowing. Sometimes the cups are a little, half full. Some are, it depends on what your thing is. Are you a half full person or whatever, So it's like I said, there's messages that can be had from that, and there's always hope for tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a better day. I'll just close my eyes and put an end to this day. Tomorrow will be a better day.
So I get ideas, conversations, and creativity. That's the other purpose. I get the Fool and the Hermit. There is wandering that you also need to do while in a dream state or in a sleep state that you can actually take off and wander if you're one of the journeying type people. Or there's just answers that you need to search for to come up with new solutions. There is strong ideas here with the Ace of Swords and the Strength card. And when you are awake, it is very hard sometimes to tap in fully to your creative side. Some of us, especially your intuition with the Page of Cups, some of us are in our own way. And mind you, it's human experience. We got things to do. We can't all sit around with the kumbayas. So you've got things to do, but when you go to sleep, then spirit has your undivided attention because you can't move. You can't talk. You can't talk back. You can't argue. You can't doubt. So it's got you. Now here's a follow-up to this, but this is one of our questions. Why are our dreams in code? Mm-hmm. Why can't you just tell me plain out what you want to say? Like, okay, now you have my attention. Why do I have to, when I had the dream about the werewolf, why do I have to wake up and go to dreammoods.com every morning?
Yeah. We look up each individual thing. It's not like the theme. It's like dog, prairie, lizard, vomit, snake, mud. And then I got to pull all of it together. Like I'm reading some hieroglyphics. What is this?
Why are they in code? Just tell me, for God's sakes.
Okay, first of all, I have the message has to get to you somehow with this justice card, not judgment. The message is going to get through somehow. Now, I have that there are a lot of different reasons why, sometimes our dreams are symbolic or in code or whatever. I have one reason is because it might be easier than having to relive or look at or dream about certain traumas or certain difficult things from life. It might be easier to have a more symbolic view on these things than to literally have to look at them all over again. I do also have that in the morning, maybe the confusion, like what the heck was that all about? There's a purpose for that because it makes you look into it and not just go like, I don't know, maybe, you have a dream that's all like symbolic as opposed to a dream where spirit just sits down in a room next to you and goes, okay, this is how it is, and just tells you everything how it is. Because you might wake up and go, okay, that was just a weird dream. Instead of like, okay, well, what was that all? What did that mean? There's some kind of, and there's some kind of a fun element to it as well with spirits, that sometimes they kind of have fun with us. Sometimes they treat it like a game. Like, can you get the message? You know, were you paying attention? But that, yeah, sometimes they just tell us messages straight without the code, without the symbolism. But sometimes they use the symbolism, like I was saying, to protect us from getting traumatized all over again, or to maybe make certain situations easier to understand. But also definitely to make us actually think about it the next day and look into it, as opposed to just brushing it off and forgetting all about it. That's what I've got.
I got a bunch of different answers. Did you start off with the justice card?
I did.
Yeah, so that's how mine starts off with the justice card as well. Things coming back. Here's what I get. One of the reasons too is that if it just told us flat out, we wouldn't be happy. Sometimes it's no, if you know, you're just not going to be happy with that. Because we're greedy and selfish, and we are why people don't have nice things as humans. So we'd be dissatisfied. Also, there's a contract with spirit that spirit says, I cannot give you the full answer anyway, because then I hate to put the emperor as God, but let's just put the emperor as source, as spirit. Like, I can't give you the full answer anyway, because that's not what spirit will let me do. Sorry, I can give you enough, but I can't, because that's for him, ultimately for the spirit to do. I'm going to use God in this context. That's God's job, not mine. Okay. Also, too, if I told you exactly what it meant, and half of y'all psychic clairvoyant suckers, y'all would start strategizing and being sneaky and doing. Would you use that knowledge for good, or would you self-sabotage even? Right.
Right.
Also, it's a reciprocal thing. I'm going to give you some information, and then I need you to also do the work. I didn't get the 7 of Pentacles. I didn't get the 8 of Pentacles. I got the 6 of Pentacles. Sharing of time, money, resources, and information. I'm going to give you a nugget, and then I need you to do some work as well. We need to cohabitation. We have an agreement with spirit that we do the work as well. They can't just give us everything. We've got to work, do our part of the bargain as well. And that's part of our contract as humans, is got to do the work to figure out what it means.
What'd you get, Toni?
I got that. It is a present. It's, you know, it's like, it's in code, because it's like, you know, when you get a present, it's all wrapped in nice paper. You don't know exactly what's in there. What's in that box? What the heck is in there? And why are you giving it to me? Okay, it might be my birthday, it might be this, whatever, but it is a present from spirit for you. And it is intended to help your self-esteem, because if they gave it to you, you know, teach a man to fish, or give a man a fish, or teach a man to fish, whatever. So that also helps with your stability in your waking hours. And it's the truth. You can always believe that it's the truth. It's universal energy. And this is for you, Miss Adrian.
Thank you. I was wondering if you
foundation. No, I swear it came up for me, and it's about creating a firm foundation, because you have done the work. Like you said, Adrian, you've done the work. You figured it out. You figured the code out, and it's much more satisfying to figure something out like that. Figure out puzzles and things like that. It's much more satisfying, and it stays with you longer. If somebody just gives you the information, you can, you know, you walk away and it could be gone like that. But if you have to figure it out and you go through the motions and the mapping, then it stays with you longer, and it becomes something that you can work with in your life. That's what I get.
So I get the King of Swords. King of Swords is the very intelligent type person. Now, bluntly put, they're talking down to you. That's why it's in code. I get that, yes, it does stay with you longer. The Six of Swords, the 6 swords that are in the boat, that's the baggage of the person trying to go into the calmer water. Just because you get into the calmer seas does not mean the past disappeared. So you still got stuff you take with you. The Knight of Pentacles, again, just like Toni said, this stays with you. If it gives you symbols, you focus on them. You begin, and if you're not even trying to think about what it was, you do, like Seanna say, wake up and think, what in the world was that? And so it stays with you. It leaves an imprint. But like Adrian said, it cannot give you the plain answer. Ace of Wands, there's the action, but there's the regret. I can't just tell you. I have to show you the puzzle pieces and you put it together if you want to. But this person, like I said, with the King of Swords and the Page of Wands, they're talking down because in their language, you wouldn't understand it. So yes, I got to give you stuff on this earthly realm that you understand. There's no such thing as werewolves where I'm from, but you might know what that means if I show it to you. So they kind of have to change their verbiage to communicate with us. So it's in code because it has to be. It sticks. I can do without it still. I'm just telling you right now.
Just saying.
So what is Spirit's definition of a human being? What are we? Because human being is an earthly word. We created that. What is their definition of humans? I'm going to use my doggy cards for that one.
They know. Don't you, Lucy Lou?
Was Lucy Lou the one who laughed at my joke Monday night or Tuesday night?
That was that was Jonesy.
Okay. Tell Jonesy thank you for laughing at my joke.
Okay.
Tell Jonesy next time I do stand up, I'm hiring her in the audience.
You don't want Jonesy, you want Toni, because Toni's the best audience.
I need one person to laugh to cue everybody else to laugh that it was a joke.
I'm not even pulling cards no more. First card I get, what is humans? I get the devil.
And we're done.
We are the devil.
I'm sure this means something. Let me concentrate, I guess.
Well, okay, I got that. I keep getting it, like, for a lot of these last ones, that there's multiple ways to see this, but there's no one set perception to have. One thing that I pick up is they see humans kind of like characters.
That's
Kind of like characters, or like our souls. We're just acting. We're just playing a part. They also see us. For some reason, with the Sun card, they see us like as children almost, as we are children of like the divine. I also get a human, or their definition of a human being, somebody that comes to this planet and deals with challenges and deals with pains that don't actually exist in spirit, that they don't even have a need for, there's just no space for, it's just an earth thing, certain types of struggle and pain. And then this human or this character goes through all of that struggle, and they still are remaining hopeful and still are expecting good things in life, or are still like looking forward to, like, okay, well, what's next? What does tomorrow bring? Very, like, they kind of see us as, like, I think just very dynamic characters. And the word dedicated comes in. Our souls, we have very dedicated souls to want to come here and to want to take on all these challenges.
Think of me, myself, and dying. What you get, Adrian?
I give a one card answer. I got 7 of Pentacles. I get we are works in progress. We are seeds that have been planted that have not yet ripened. We will ripen when we cross over into spirit and get the full picture. So we are little seedlings that are been planted, that are growing, that are learning, that are harvesting, that will ripen and come into our full ripenness. I will use that word. That is definitely not a word, but I just made it up. Ripenness at some point of spiritual intervention. And that could be when we cross over. It can be when we come back and become spirits ourselves to help others. But we're seedlings.
Toni, what'd you get? You're muted. You're muted, madam.
So we are seedlings. We are little children. We're sad little kids. We're just sad. But they're interested in the fact that we have this ability, this intuition, and the way we express ourselves is so different. And the way we have our relationships, everything that we create is like interesting as human beings. But the main thing is that we are pathfinders. We create new things. We push ourselves forward in evolution, and we just set out because we're just adventurers. We're here to learn. We're here to experience, and that's what we do. That's what we do. We find new paths of and new ways of living that may not be something that spirit has seen before. So, from the beginning of human existence, we've always pushed ourselves past the point of hopefully extinction. We will continue to do that. I don't know, maybe.
I get that we are caretakers of this here planet. We are native to this planet. We're not aliens, as this planet can heal and kill us, so we can't exist anywhere else. Well, survive, I should say, anywhere else, at least not in this form. That's what this was. There's horrible things that can and will happen. Forest fires, we can put them out now. We can save the life of an animal, especially if there's oil in the water. Usually happens by people, but we know how to anyway, I'll leave all that alone. But we're caretakers. That's why I get that Seven of Pentacles, tending the ground and feeding the earth and that type of thing. King of Cups, support for the world. So we are the caretakers. As far as the title human, or they don't really care, because it's your flesh. They come into this flesh and it moves around for however long it does, and then they just jump out and do whatever. But
it's a human construct, right? Yes. To be like human.
So I forgot to mention this earlier, but here she is. Jen was going to join us and she had a question. So I'm going to pull you in if you're ready, Ren and Stimpy.
Ready. Hey, everybody.
So what was your question, madam?
Well, it's sort of a three-parter, and it's based on a story that actually happened to me. So when I get in my car, I always put a bubble around it to protect me, because I've been rear-ended so many times sitting at red lights. So I had been laid off from my job here in Illinois. I was going over to Wisconsin for a job interview about 2 hours away from where I live. I thought, okay, well, if I get this job, I could rent an apartment there, keep my house here, kind of go back and forth, because the salary would enable me to do that. But, I put the bubble around my car, and on the way to the job interview, I'm rear-ended again, right? Major whiplash, sitting at a red light, guy plows into me, and I'm like, okay, what is protection? Like, was I protected from the job? Were they trying to say, don't go for the job? Or were they just not protecting my car? What is protection? That's the first part. And I'm going to let y'all read on it. I'm going to just sit and listen.
Protection. Oh, know.
Why do some people get in a car accident and die, and other people feel like an angel took over the wheel? What is protection? Why sometimes and not others?
My whole existence in Oklahoma of the tornado taking one house and leaving the other.
Yeah.
That's protection.
Y'all look so good. Miss
I did
Adrian
my
and her chapeau. Adrian, the Rockette.
I kind of have a weird answer. That there's different ways to look at protection, what it means. Sometimes protection from spirit is like ensuring you the best outcome for your situation, and we don't always control what our situation is about, and spirit can't control the free will decisions of other people, so they protect us by ensuring that the best possible thing turns up. Sometimes they protect us. I get the image literally of a guardian angel with the strength card. Beings that are there with us all the time through like our day-to-day lives to protect us from small things, sometimes protect us from larger dangers. Like I've had actually also in traffic, somebody like almost I don't know, I don't remember exactly what happened, but they kind of blew through a stop sign and they weren't supposed to, and we missed by this much. And I felt like that was like a spiritual protection. Sometimes it just depends on the situation, like what is going to be the best outcome for the moment, for the given, time. I also have sometimes they will keep other people from doing for us things that we have to do for ourselves and things that we will learn from doing ourselves. And then with this death card, I actually get that sometimes somebody is actually at like an exit point for their life, or like a place where I don't want to say opportunity because that sounds really morbid, but to go join the spirit realm.
Yeah.
And sometimes spirit goes, well, you know what? That's actually the best thing for this scenario, for whatever reason. And sometimes it's not physical death. Sometimes it's just taking us out of something we were comfortable with, something that we thought we were going to do, and changing our situation.
What'd you get, Adrian?
My cards are very literal tonight because Seanna and Toni have these beautiful messages, and mine are just like A, B, C, D, E, F. This was the first card I got, was the Wheel of Fortune, and I could have just stopped there, but I continued to go on. It's the Wheel of Fortune, inevitability for your highest good. It also, what is protection, whatever it means to get you to the highest ground, get you out of harm's way. It could have been that, yes, it needed to derail you from that job interview because that job was not for your highest good. I'm getting you to higher ground, to protection.
And that job interview, by the way, is why I got into reading full time.
To get you to, I always think is getting you off to get you on your right path. Not necessarily to higher water, but also getting you're on a boat, you're on the path. Okay, that's how I'm seeing it. Protection is also a new thought and a sort of truth as well. Sometimes that is protection. Johnny always says forearmed is forewarned, right? Once I know, I can now act. I can now do. So that can be protection as well. Is my husband cheating on me? Well, yes, he is. That's your answer for protection. So now you know what you can do, and you're forearmed. Now you're forewarned. Now you're forearmed. Protection is also a change in perspective, not a self-sacrifice, but a change in perspective. You need to rethink this because I need you to get back on your spiritual path. And then also this supportive emotion, this Queen of Cups, this always there to support, always there to be with you. That's what I get.
What'd you get, Toni?
I think she is on mute.
So I got, thank you, Sienna. I got,
I do like my song.
that's my song. So I got the throat chakra connected. It's I think like Adrian was saying, it's more of a thing where you are being led or guided in a different direction from where you're currently going. That it's emotional, but they're giving you the things that you need. There's I guess I want to say balancing out the scales in some way, and that's so weird because I got two. I got the Temperance and I got the Six of Pentacles. So it's balancing out the scales so that you can move through and forward and become what it is that you signed on to do. So what opportunities do come up. Opportunities come up. They're not always necessarily for you. So different things happen. Like my daughter she graduated college and she came home, and her first interview, she got into a car accident on the way. So that job was gone, but she learned a valuable lesson, and it had nothing to do with the job. It was about looking both ways before you pull out into traffic. So, so it could be a number of things, but there is always a lesson in something like that happening. As far as protection is concerned, that is the lesson. That protects you the next time something like that happens, or the next time you are put into that situation. So that's what I get. That's what I get. Oh, one more card. The last card, Holy Mountain. It's what I don't know. There's a little man right at the top of this mountain, right there. So that's where you're trying to get to. And along the way, down further, is all of this Mishigosh stuff that's happening, all of that stuff that's going on for you. But ultimately, the top of the mountain is where you're going to go. And the protection comes with the journey. And I that's not coming from me. I don't know where protection comes with the journey. So I don't know. There you go.
I get the Hermit first card, Eight of Cups second card. There is something you say all the time, Jen, about be specific. Protect what exactly? Just kind of like, do you want abundance? Abundance of what? Abundance of problems, abundance of money. And if you want abundance of money, do you want it by working, or do you want it by an accident? Do you want to be Tracy Morgan abundance, or do you want to be Bill Gates abundance? Because that is possible both ways. And so there is some specifics that need to happen when you ask for anything from the universe. And there's also, with the Magician and the Hangman, putting a request to Spirit is just that. It's not an order. They don't have to give you anything. And what they do give you is a part of their plan and not yours. So if you have the power, which is what they do, their perspective is what they operate in, because they can see something further than you can. So if you want to be protected on the way to this job interview, but that's really not the job for you, then maybe they need to stall you somehow, yet not take your life at the same time.
Before I get out the door.
Yes.
What made me think of it too is I have a friend who was doing a long road trip and fell asleep at the wheel in the middle of the night. And he remembers clear as day something hitting him on the back of his head and hearing, "Would you look at this idiot?" Like spirit just smacked it and woke him up, and he woke up and he's like wide awake, and he goes to the next exit and he gets off and he takes a nap. But it's like, okay, something protected him, and then how many people die because they fall asleep at the wheel and run off the road? Yeah. So it got me thinking about protection. But my second part is, what is the difference between being guided and following divine order?
All right.
Deep,
I had to grab my phone
deep
charger.
questions for you.
That's better. Okay. So, the difference between being guided and following divine order?
Mhm.
Okay, let's see.
Or are they different?
Ah. Okay. Well, I get that one thing that Spirit does for us is they kind of want us to feel like it was our idea. Sometimes people are not good at listening to instructions or orders, and they do not like being told what to do or feel like they're being told what to do. So, Spirit will kind of plant the seeds of thought, in the subconscious or in the mind somewhere. And then eventually, we think something over and we go, you know what, I kind of want to move this direction. Or I've been hearing an awful lot about this practice lately, and I kind of want to check it out or try it out. That Spirit going, nice, it worked. Like, we knew that you would be best in this direction of, I don't know, for example, energy healing or something as opposed to corporate work. But if we just told you that you need to do this or imparted it to you in a dream or, some kind of like serious vision like that, that might be really upsetting and jarring to some people. So it's like, we got to make it seem like it was your idea and we got to let you make this choice naturally. That's what I've said. So they're almost not different. It's just the way it's presented sometimes can make it seem like they're different.
I get very similar. Being guided, it'll make it look like it was your idea. And so you go out and do the action with the Two of Cups and was it Two of Cups? Yeah, Two of Cups and the Knight of Wands. I see this idea, and that's really Spirit going, okay, we're here, right?
Mm-hmm.
We see each other. Okay, cool. Now go act. And you think you did it by yourself. We're humans. We're so stupid and selfish and self-absorbed. That's not how that happens. That's Spirit, right? Okay, that's what Spirit's telling us. Divine intervention, spiritual power is what it looks like is, oh my God, I don't know what to do, head over heart. I don't know which decision to make, but then somehow things just working out in our behalf anyway. It's like we don't know what to do. It's like when you're walking down, you're like, oh my God, I had no idea what was going to happen. I was so scared. But then wouldn't you know, just miraculously it all worked out? And that's the divine. It's like, yeah, imagine that. I was right here with you the entire time. I guided you there. You didn't know what to do when it showed up. I knew you didn't know what to do, dummy. So I went ahead and just did it. I took the shortcut because I knew you weren't going to get there because you're being too basic right now.
That's
Toni,
awesome.
what you get?
Oh, he's muted.
You gonna learn to control his mute button, Maddie.
Well, it's because the dogs are making a little noise. I'm just trying to.
They
save
live there.
them.
You let them make all the noise they want to.
Okay, so I'm not exactly sure. I drew the tree of life. The magic of trees is that their canopies grow when they're in a forest. They only grow to the point where light can still get in to nourish the baby trees that are coming up between them. So that's sort of like a inherent guidance, sort of a what do you call it? And with the air traffic controllers, the guidance program, it's already programmed into our DNA. The fact that we have free will, but we we take guidance from our ancestors, our angels, our guides, in order to balance ourselves out. I just don't feel like there's a difference between the two. I think they are the same. It's all divine consciousness, and it's all something that we can all rely on because it's truth, and they will always give us the truth. They may give it to us in code, but it is the truth. and then we sort of look at it as a psychic ability, but I think we are hardwired to listen to those messages and to distinguish between whether they're code or something that we understand. So that's what I got. That's what I got.
I believe they are the same but different approaches. One is you are the divinely guided, or the divine basically putting you on the path that you were supposed to be on in the first place. You do it without noticing. And it's like you're in the right place, right time type of thing, but you were actually put there. You didn't just arrive accidentally. The other one is you realize your purpose and you make conscious steps to go in that direction. So if you realize that you are supposed to be a preacher, then you go to seminary or you go to preacher school and you learn how to be a preacher school person. So it's that type of thing. So but you're still going in the same direction. You're still going in the same path. You just arrived in a different method. But it's still all the same, I think.
Well, thank you for letting me join you to do the backstory with it, because I wanted to give a couple examples of why these questions kept coming up, as opposed to just typing the questions in on Johnny. Like the things that I was thinking about that spawned the questions.
Now, did you have another one?
Nope.
Okay, so let's we got time for a couple more here. Okay. Is it possible? Yes or no? Whatever. Is it possible to leave signs or markers or signals in this incarnation for your next incarnation? Is it possible to leave something behind that your next incarnation could know who they were in this carnation? In this carnation, instant milk.
I already got something very, very interesting.
Maybe
but I got
that's
the rest of the cards now.
Maybe that's why pets have accidents on the floor. They're trying to leave a scent for the next lifetime. I was here before.
I can smell it.
That was me. I did that.
Proof. Proof is always nice.
I got that for pretty much as long as there have been people, and for as long as there have been people who believe in reincarnation, they have tried to leave some kind of marker. I keep seeing the image of like something being carved into a tree, and an old man saying to himself, okay, well, when I am reborn because he assumes he'll be reborn into the same community, into maybe a different family or whatever, I'll see this mark on the tree and I will remember.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always play out that way, because sometimes some people are, reincarnated within the same family line or in the same community, and some people they are sent somewhere completely different, completely different location, a completely different era. But something that is interesting. Oh, I hear puppies. Okay, sorry. Something that is interesting is nowadays with the advent of social media, that we might in the future be able to find, we would think, oh, it's old accounts from people who died decades ago or whatever, or all this old information about these people. But I pick up that it could be possible that people born in I guess we would call it in the future, might see an online record that their past self had left. some kind of online imprint. But yeah, that's what I pick up, that it could be easier with our technology and stuff, but that people have always tried to leave some kind of marker or try to, recognize their old life in some way.
I get they have. Some people have actually been successful with the Six of Wands. However, with the High Priestess, it's a mystery because they didn't come back in the same era, in the same place, in the same place to be able to figure it out, which I think is so hilarious. And that's so, I get the devil, that's so, not in a addiction or bad way, but that's so how the human mind, we're so basic. That's how we work. I am egoic enough to think that I can leave these breadcrumbs. I will be victorious. I will know exactly what they mean 18 lifetimes from now. And, like, come on.
Ego self always has to be remembered.
I know. And the rest of the cards I get are pentacles, which are actual breadcrumbs to me. I get like the pinnacle, the actual thing. So people have been successful. They have left them. And I think that's why people are able to do past life readings for other people, or find when you get this, like, God, I feel like I've done this before. I know I've done this before. Why am I so intrigued with Roman history? Well, that's that breadcrumb that gets you back to that past life that you had.
It's kind of like an energetic sort of energetic breadcrumb, because you don't know why you feel so drawn to that era or that culture or whatever, but you just know that there's something important there. Yeah.
Toni.
She's on mute.
Toni, unmute.
So is it a physical thing that we're trying to leave behind? Like you said, carving in a tree, or but we leave headstones. We leave headstones, right? And they last for hundreds of years. So, maybe, you walk through a cemetery and you pass by a headstone and something just sort of pops into your head and you go, oh yeah, deja vu. I remember this happening to me. So it's a pleasant pastime, but it really doesn't work unless you have somebody who can help you move through that timeline, right? Because that timeline is gone. It's very thin. It's very hard to grasp that particular thread because it's so thin, because it's a timeline that's already happened. Okay, so it feels like a trap that you fall into with the thoughts that, oh, I'm going to do this, and then when I come back in my next lifetime, I'm gonna have that. But it's really not something that can happen unless, like I said, you have someone who can take you down that timeline. And yes, it's compassion, it's communication, expression. You want it, all of that. You want to be remembered universally for the things that you did while you were here on the planet. But, a headstone is good. A headstone is good. A plaque is good. You may not, when you come back, you may not even be able to read it because it's in a different language. Who knows? Who knows? So I think it's a good thought to have, that you could probably try to do that. But, coming back, it's like, I put this rock here like 100 years ago, and somebody came and moved that rock. They moved it. It's gone.
You come back and there's a skyscraper there now, and you're like,
what happened to my rock?
Who was that? Who was the king who ended up being buried underneath a shopping center parking lot?
Richard
III. He was found in a parking lot under a grocery store, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So, so I guess he's remembered.
I get it's already happened, that there's already been things that have been offered up. It's like, if we weren't so naive, there's an abundance of signs of where we've lived, who we were, all those things, things that we're, we celebrate, if we're not blocking it, if our ego doesn't get in the way, there's things that we love and places that we love and where we feel supported, things we cling to, our legacy. The truth is already out there. I feel like with art, like if you're drawn to certain artists, like, over the top drawn to it, they're leaving this beautiful artwork. Maybe you were Van Gogh in a previous lifetime. Certain cities you walk in and you feel like you've been there before and you know your way around, or that you love, versus other cities you go to and it's like, oh my God, I can't wait to get out of here. Yeah, there's signs all around us. We just don't always pay attention. And like Adrian was saying, the ego gets in the way, the filter.
I get there's a problem with the balance of it, with the Justice card and the Five of Wands. The King of Cups, Three of Pentacles that comes up later. The Knight of Cups and the Fool. It's kind of like there's this idea is a bit, it's a bit, you're thinking about it a bit elementary. Like, okay, I'm going to leave this here, and then when I die, I'm going to come back, and then here it is, and I'm going to pick it up and read about myself. No. Number one, there's conditions. This is why the balance has a conflict. Is this person you're coming back as even a believer in such a thing? Do they even believe in past lives? Do they even believe in reincarnation? Are they a person who comes back disformed or disabled? It's like there's a whole bunch of little things that I think we're thinking about it maybe too simply. Now, this is how it can work. If there is a lineage of people who have some sort of past life reading capability with the Three of Pentacles and that person, if they are still alive when you die and they know where you are, they can then contact that person when you come back and say, hey, this was your life when you were here, like everybody else does in past life readings. But that person has to know you personally and say, I'm going to now show you the history of thy life. People who do past life readings can tell you who you were then, but they can't really open the book and say, this is everything. They can say, oh, you were a farmer in Switzerland somewhere. Okay, but which one? And where did I live exactly? Can you tell me the exacts? No, they can't. But if there is a person you can work with that leaves a detailed exact, then maybe.
Look at the lineage of the Dalai Lamas. They track it. You know, when they pick out the next Dalai Lama, they track it and they can figure out which kid is the next Dalai Lama.
How do they do that? I mean, how can they do that? It's just a spiritual message that they look for?
Or the child knows things about their past life, so they can verbalize things, that give them a sign like, oh, there he is.
I hate to be so simple, but if anybody's ever watched, I learned a little bit how to do this when I went to monk school. There's an episode of King of the Hill where it's called "Won't You Pee My Neighbor," and they literally were like, we think that they reincarnated in this area, and then they'll go search. And it's literally how that episode went down. Bobby went and picked up an artifact and used it and didn't even realize he used it. And they were like, we know that's him. And he did it twice. And they just knew because he had a connection unsubconsciously to the, and this time they used artifacts, but there's other things they could use. Like Jen said, it's really interesting.
Music, art, all those kinds of things.
Certain humor, certain books,
writing.
So we got two more. If anybody needs, because we were talking about sleep earlier, if anybody needs to bow out, you can write it. But I got two more. And this question was sparked by the story of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ being the Son of God, sent here with specific purpose, but it was actually God incarnate, the whole egg thing. How you got the egg yolk, the egg white, the eggshell, they're different parts, but they're the same. So can a soul be sent here one time? Or do all of them reincarnate?
They'd have to be a really, really, really good person.
Dennis will be sent here just the one time.
Sorry, my first part is there's always attachments. It's not that simple. There are always attachments. There's always some kind of strings.
You know that devil's been busy tonight. We're not even talking about politics.
Definitely has.
In Buddhism, we're taught that how your karma in your life determines your rebirth. So if you were just a jackass in this life, you would come back in a lower,
Like a donkey.
lower vibration. Not even a donkey, you would come back as
A fruit fly.
yeah.
Oh, mercy.
Well, now I have that. Some people, I don't know how this message is going to sound, but I definitely heard from Spirit that who we know as Jesus, that was not his first go around on Earth. That was not his first time. That may have been one of his final times, but it was not the first. He's made this journey before. And that a lot of us repeat this process because sometimes, like I said, there's attachment. Sometimes we have loose ends from one lifetime that can be tied up in another one, or can be tied up in the spirit realm. And maybe somebody was a right jackass in one lifetime. They go to Spirit, and Spirit goes, okay, look at all this drama and look at all the problems that you were responsible for. What could you have done better? And, now that you know what you could have done better, now here's your opportunity to go and be better. Try again. We always get that opportunity to try again. I mean, if Spirit feels as though we're actually going to use it, maybe not squander it. But I pick up that they want us to come back because there's so much more that can be learned. We might come back with a completely different perspective and from a completely different culture and have a completely different way of seeing this world. And they want us to sort of have a deeper experience for being here. And that's what I have. They encourage us to do this multiple times.
Use your words.
I don't wanna. Oh boy, I'm gonna try to put this in human words. I love how I got the King of Wand, Page of Swords, which this tells me is old, young, coming in old in action, or leaving old with action, coming in young with thought. There's multiple iterations for certain people is what I'm getting. Multiple iterations, because we've got to there's things that we need to do with the Ace of Wands, with the action. Sometimes this go around, we're just not spiritually, we're not satisfied. We weren't offered, we didn't like this go around. We're kind of like, you know what? Like Jen was saying, I didn't quite like people who, her friend who got woken up from the car accident versus people who died in the car accident. This go round may have not, there was more I didn't quite get to do before I had that car accident. Hey, Spirit, can I try again? Can I try again? Or Spirit can go, hey, you know what? Ooh, now that you're up here and we see that maybe you could have learned and you're a little bit more capable than we thought you were down in that human life, let's get you to try it again. So there's sometimes there's just reasons that, hey, that go round didn't go quite right. So instead of coming down as a fruit fly, Johnny said, you get to go back and try again.
I'm on. My mic is on.
Yay.
So I get that I don't know if you can see this.
I think so.
Personal choice. Your personal choice. And you have a personal power to make that decision to either stay or come down to work out more things, to express a different way of living. and have more of an abundance of life than maybe you had before. And that is universal. Just that is for everyone, every spirit, every soul that wants to advance, to become more closer to the source, closer to the source. It is a mystery as to why certain people do come and certain people decide to sacrifice themselves just the one time, just so that other spirits can have the information to, if they want to come back and do whatever they need to do over. But yeah, I don't think that I think it's a multiple thing. I think it's it's the classroom thing. If you got to go back to school to learn a new trade, come on, the bell's ringing. Get back in school.
So I get that we're not really meant to come in one time, but there are some that are blocked from ever coming in. like, no, you're not ready. You don't get to come in yet. Go back. You're not done yet. We're meant to come here and share until we're satisfied, to be creators, to be, earthbound here. And before we can move forward, there's karma involved that we work through. The heartbreaks, the joys, the ego, love, that sense of nostalgia is what bonds us and keeps us coming back. So we don't really have our breakthrough for a while. It's like it takes a while for us to change and say, okay, we're done. Celebrate. We're done. like we all want to come back over and over, except for those that aren't allowed.
Just really, really quick, I do pick up that there's some that they have to incarnate elsewhere because for whatever reason they can't come back to Earth, but because of whatever lessons they need to learn, maybe Earth has moved past it, and they're like, well, Spirit's like, well, if you want to reincarnate, you go to this planet then and figure it out, and then maybe we'll try Earth again.
Like a spiritual probation.
The outer space Australia.
I get can they be sent here once? I get no, 10 of Swords, and because they have a cycle that they have to do, that you're just in, like, this is not even, you're just in it, like get over it, you're just in it, you have a cycle, you're gonna go there, you're gonna come back, you're gonna go there, you're gonna come back, you're gonna go there, you're gonna come back. That's just what it is. You ain't gotta like it for it to be true, type of thing. Now, the most hard-hitting question of the night, the final one. Do not, in my chat room, start throwing lies and insults and fingers and feet. I had a video a long time ago that in the comments section erupted into arguments. And I'm like, what? It was not even meant to be that serious. But most hard-hitting question of the night. Which came first? The chicken or the egg?
Oh.
I'm tapping out. I'm just kidding.
Which came first? The chicken or the egg?
The chicken or the egg?
Wait a minute. Now I have to do this. Hi, Jody. I'm going to make a poll. I'm not going to type all that in there. I'm just going to type this because y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay.
I got an answer I didn't expect.
Boom.
And that is that the chicken and the egg are one and the same.
Yes, ma'am.
The egg is in the chicken, in the ovaries and whatever. And the baby chicken is in the egg. The egg is in the chicken and the chicken's in the egg. They are one and the same. That one cannot exist without the other. So I think they were both here first.
Where did
Even if the eggs were just in the ovary and not quite laid yet. Still eggs.
Is the chicken? What is the chicken a descendant of anyway? Where does it come?
Chickens they come from this could sound dumb. Don't they come from dinosaurs? Didn't people think that chickens and other birds maybe ascended or descended or whatever from?
Yeah,
I
the
think
flying.
everything also came out the water, so nobody knows.
I don't think anyone really 100% knows. But I love chickens.
I don't have an answer. I can't make sense of these cat snatching cards, no matter how.
I just
If I
put
try
all
to
mine back because I couldn't either.
yeah, I don't. There's it. Movement, damn it. There's both. I'm going with Seanna. They were both. I don't know. And I'm trying. I pulled the whole deck and I can't anymore.
Let me pull my animal.
Yeah. Make it
I
make
get it's a
sense, man.
conundrum. But structurally, we're put here to be creators. But you better watch out for somebody stealing your eggs.
Oh, I did get. Yeah.
I think the female, the chicken was here at the along with the male to fertilize the egg, because otherwise you wouldn't have somebody to sit on the egg to hatch it.
It's true. Where else would the chicks come from? Otherwise, you just get yolk.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. None of these cards are coming.
None of the cards make sense.
They're not
They
supposed
don't
to.
make any sense. What?
I'm gonna ask, why does Johnny ask questions like this?
Seriously.
I have no idea. Well, I would say the chicken comes first, but
I say the chicken, but not because it's in this reading, because the cards are not going to tell me, apparently. But it ended in the King of Swords, which is what I am, so I'm going to go with my first thought. Because the baby chicken cannot take care of itself, so there has to be a bigger chicken to do it. So that's why I say the chicken came first. Because what laid the egg?
Right.
Microorganisms, I guess.
that's an intuition card. You just have to use your intuition on that one.
My card said it doesn't matter, but I'm going to say chicken.
So why does Johnny ask questions like this? Because he had unfinished work to resolve here. And he thought collaborating with us on the answer, he felt secure in what he got, but he kind of was hoping one of us would defend what he got before. So he's actually celebrating, but at the same time, he'll reject our answer if we don't agree with him.
What kind of asshole am I? Oh my goodness.
Internally, he might not vocally, but internally, he would reject us.
They all them helpers don't know how to read cards.
Right. Why do I keep inviting them to read with me? These
I'm me. I got the papers now. So on the poll, it looks like chicken has won 56-44.
Just trying to find the chicken in my
Good
card.
old chicken.
I didn't even expect to go philosophical mode. Chicken and the egg are the same.
I like your answer though, Sienna, because I'm like that makes perfect sense. It's the
I
one.
mean, the egg is already inside of the chicken, just hasn't been fertilized and hasn't grown into a baby chick yet, and then it does, and then I don't know. Now I just want eggs. I want like an omelet.
Which came first? The seasonings. That's what came.
Anybody got an
You
omelet?
ask which came first, the chicken or the rooster?
Oh, no.
Jen, I'm about to cancel you. No, no, ma'am. No, not right now. No, you do not have the brain cells right now, ma'am. No, thank you.
No, I went through all these cards. There's no chicken in here anywhere.
There was no chicken Kama Sutra, so he didn't know what he was doing. Now, verbal segue. So please forgive me, Joanne. But thank you, Joanne, for my maths. Thank you very much.
Ooh, pretty.
I put the link to Red Lentil Healing, Shining Hawk Healing, and Sienna Rose Metaphysical Healing down in the description. Y'all make sure you go and subscribe. Be there tomorrow on Red Lentil Healing, as we will be doing part 2 for the Mama Earth reading. Sunday, we will be on my channel at 8 p.m. Eastern, as it is the same time every single week. For those who go ask me what time, who channel, this channel, same time, 8 o'clock.
Wait,
there.
don't sign off yet. Don't sign off yet, Johnny.
Go right ahead. Go get them.
Don't sign off yet.
Be there, be square, or be triangle. You know how we do around here. Don't let nobody tell you what to be.
Next time y'all do a sound healing video, Johnny's got lots of new toys.
Oh, I ain't professional now. I ain't finna mess up the flow. You got both of them?
Oh, yeah, there's more.
Don't play favorites.
I can't.
That's Lucy.
Is that Mama?
No, she's not the mama, but she's also a rescue. These two are rescued. We rescued the 2 puppies together because they were brothers.
Oh my gosh, I can't.
That's so
Oh, isn't he adorable? Look at this belly.
I know.
I can't. I cannot. How cute.
Oh no, another one.
Number 2.
Oh.
Oh my god, they are so adorable, and they're playing. Oh.
So, okay, you guys, I love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to be busy.
So thank y'all all for coming out. And again, we'll see you tomorrow at 7 on Red Lentil Healing. Then I'll see you at 8 on TarotsApprentice Healings right here on YouTube. So y'all have a good night. Thank you, Jen, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.